ประรบพิธีบนโดยทาพิธีควบในติเวียโดยทาติเวียบนรำลึกควบในทั้งไงมาภัยใบตลามาปอนประมวยกาสมุยคือเจียโดยทาควบเลือกตีมาภัยผมใบชนามหายในกิจปรมเปรียงสันติเพียบที่กรุงปารีสได้ประเทศกัมพูชีบานตัวในสกสันติเพียบหอยเมียงกาบังรวมเชียดในเป็นนกเพียกีกัมพูชีบานเป็นจอบสังเกตเพียกีต่างบุญเมียนแต่งขมายกระหอมเพียกีรอดกัมพูชีให้นังเพียกีสำได้หรือก็คางโลกเซนซานในบานรวมคเนียดอันใบนังเป็นจอบสังเกตบานในทั้งไงนี้สเปียอเมริกันคือเมียนโลกอลันโลเวนโซลได้เชียเนี่ยตำนานเรียในขนมสารดำเริกนี้ให้นังโลกสติลชาบดเชียเนี่ยตำนานเรียพองได้นังโจรวมทลายกาเตะตรงแต่นังควบเลือกตีมาภัยปมใบในทีวีโดยทาประรบควบเตะตรงแต่นังสันติสัญญาสันติเพียบที่กรุงปารีสนี้บัดหายนังเมียนเวียกมันมวยจำนวนเส้นเทียดคือโดยเชียในยุคองการระบอบวิจิตรทานประชาธิปไตยมวยคืออันดีไอก่อนหนึ่งไตรโจรวมทลายกาพองได้คือชีวิตมันพองได้นี้บตามกำโรงกาได้บานเคยหอยมวยเทียดก็เคยทาเมียนโดยเชียสกรรมจุนโดยทาในขนมสารดำเด็กนี้เชียรูปเส้นเทียดได้ไตรหนึ่งโจรวมทลายกาโดยเชียโลกจับกำตึงประเทียนองการสิทธิมนุษยรัฐในขนมรัฐวิจิเนียพระองค์บทบุญติงได้เชียประเดชกุลได้เชียสกรรมจนคางโดยท่าพนายประซองก็หนังเตยโจรวมทลายโดยท่าสันตกถาหรือก็ทลายกาหนังนิมนต์ทลายกาปีเรื่องเซ็งเตะตรงเตยหนังควบเลือกตีมาเพย์ผมไปในทีวีบนเตะตรงเตยหนังกิจปรมเพียงสันติเพียบที่กรุงปารีสพองได้ให้เนสไรเจเนตเซงมาปีรัฐเพนซิลเวเนียที่กรุงฟิลาเดลเฟียก็เชียร์สกรรมชนคณะปะสังครูเชียร์มือรูปพองได้นั่งโจรวมพองได้ในที่นี้ให้ลูกชายกำพลก็นั่งเชียร์เวียกมันพองได้ให้ในที่นี้ขยมบาดเคยมีนบองปอนไปเชียร์บรักขมายได้สลันประเทศเชียร์ประเทศกัมพูชีเชียร์รูปก็นั่งโจรวมในขนมกาปิพิษาเตะตรงแต่นังเรื่องมาภัยใบตลาในได้ให้กัญญาคำโนวิชาได้เชียกอนไซระบอบโลกกรรมสขาให้เชียมันไตรจวงกปัวในคณะปะสังครุชีตก็นังทลายกาพองได้อมปีปัญหาเตะตรงแต่นังนโยบายกัมพูชีเตะตรงแต่นังกิจปรมเปรียงสินธิสัญญาที่กรุงปารีสจังปริมิตอาจนังตามด้านจมวยนังวีเอในการทรายบรรทบตัวในเปลได้เมียนกิจพิพิธาอมปีเรื่องนี้หรือก็เมียนกาทลายกาปีเวียกมันสำคัญเตะตรงแต่นังปัญหานโยบายขมายกิจปรมเปรียงสันติเพียบให้การได้เฟื่อพิธีประรบทีวีมาภัยใบตลาเชียกิจปรมเปรียงสันติสัญญาสันติเพียบที่กรุงปารีสนี้คือมุนเปลได้โลกสมัยซีบานดักไงผมบุญขายวิจิกาดำใบเฟื่อมีแต่ภูมินิวัตกันประเทศกัมพูชีวิ่งบาดหายปีโปรโลกบานนี่เตะคล้วนจิตรันชนะมาหายเชียงบุญชนะมาหายโดยซาแต่เมียนกาจอดประกันภายในโดยถ้าเตะตรงแต่นังปัญหามวยจำนวนหายก่อเมียนการมเลียคณะปะสังครุชีตกลองมาพองได้หายเหมือนบานโจรวมในขนมกาบอชนาวโดยโลกกรรมสขาได้เจปเทียนคณะปะสังครุชีตตระจับคุมแข็งโดยชนะหายโลกสมัยซีบานประกาศยกทั้งไงตีผมบุญขายวิจิกาขมุกนี้ดำใบหนึ่งโจลตะกันประเทศกัมพูชีวิ่งดำใบหนึ่งเถื่ออเมริกาพลักโดในตีนุดาตะบตามกาได้โลกบานอ่างกับปันใต้คางอัญญาเธอระบอบประเทศกัมพูชีวิ่งบานปรองเปรียบเรียบจอมนี่คือโลกตำนานเรียอลันโลเวนโซลบาได้โลกกำปงแต่เถื่อดำนาบอกให้หนึ่งโลกหนึ่งอเมริกาทลายกาบันไตเตียนนี่บ่าให้โลกคางมันไตรรัฐบิบาลหรือกองกำลังในขนมตีกรงพนมเปญวิ่งบานปรองเปรียบเรียบจอมเถื่อกาโดยถ้าตุบสกัดหรือบังกราบปัจจันเจมีนกาโดยถ้าบ้าเบาหรือก็นวมไปเชียร์บรอดบ้าเบาเถื่อเชียเถื่อยานาดำไปปดูดลมรัฐบิบาลในประเทศกัมพูชีได้บ้านนี่คือเชียร์เอาไว้ได้กับปงแต่การเมียนหลังจังไปบัดอาจหนึ่งตามดานหรือก็เทศนาสดับหรือก็เทศนาการได้พิพิธาคเนียในขนมวิเมียนรัฐสภีได้เมียนตำนานเรียกอเมริกันชิชรันรู้ไปนังเวียกมันสำคัญมาปีประเทศกัมพูชี ហើយនឹងវាគ្មិនមកពីសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនេះរួមទាំងកញ្ញាកមនោវិជ្ជាផងដែលពុកកញ្ញាកំពុងតែត្រូវជាប់នៅក្នុងការឃុំឃាំងនេះដើម្បីនឹងមានការពិភាក្សាគ្នាយ៉ាងណាអញ្ចឹងប្រិមិត្តអាចនឹងតាមដានជាមួយនឹង VOA ហើយនឹងកម្មវិធីសម្រាប់ដូចថាការផ្សាយតាមរយៈវិទ្យុផងដែរអញ្ចឹងសូមអរគុណច្រើនប្រិមិត្តខ្ញុំបាទសុកខេមរាអ្នកយកព័ត៌មាន VOA ហើយនឹងលោកប៉ុលវិស័យសូមអរគុណសូមជម្រាបលាប្រិមិត្តហើយជួបគ្នានៅពេលក្រោយទៀតបាទអញ្ចឹងសូមអរគុណច្រើនបាទ
Thank you for hosting this. I'm pleased to share with you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a good product.
Làm gì rồi?
Yes.
Sir?
Yes. Hi, President of NDI. Very nice. Nice to meet you. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, thank you for all that you've done now that you've been put down.
We do more on the outside,
Huh?
probably.
Probably tell.
Yeah. And we'll get back.
Okay, that's fine if you want to go by this.
No. Can I put a clip on you? Okay. Let me just mention. Sorry, can you put it in the pocket and I clip this for you? Okay, and put this in your pocket. Thank you. Just
Gentlemen, welcome to the Congressional Caucus on Cambodia, our caucus's commemoration of the 1991 Paris Peace Accord. My name is Alan Lowenthal, and I am the co-chair of the caucus, of the Congressional Caucus on Cambodia. Today, I'm stepping back a little bit. Today is a fly-in day. What a fly-in day means that members are coming back from their home districts and have to be on the floor by 6:30. So we have some members who want to speak here today, and so I'm not quite sure when they're going to be arriving back. So Representative Sheila Jackson-Lee wants to address you on this issue. She is hoping to be here by around 5:30, if she can. She's flying in from Houston, Texas, and she believes her plane may be delayed a little bit. Same thing with my co-chair, Mr. Shabbat of Ohio. Hopefully he will be here. So some of our speakers we're going to shift around in the presentation who our speakers are. So I'm Alan Lowenthal, and I'm the co-chair of this caucus. I want to thank all of our speakers that are going to be here with us today, and especially, again, although he's not here, I want to thank my co-chair, Steve Shabbat. You know, a lot of times we hear throughout the country that why can't we get things done? Republicans and Democrats do not work together. Well, I will tell you, on the Congressional Caucus on Cambodia, Republicans and Democrats speak in one voice. We are not divided. So what you're hearing is a bipartisan support, and you will see the bills that we introduce are bipartisan bills. Mr. Shabbat is a great partner of mine, and he is the co-chair as much as I am the co-chair, and I'm honored, literally honored, to work with Steve Shabbat, who has been a wonderful person to work with. I'm also going to recognize Ted Yoho, who will be coming in, Congressman Yoho. I don't think he's here. Congressman Yoho will be coming in a little while. He, too, is the Republican ranking member, which means, as you know, those of you who know much about how we work here, the ranking member is the lead member of the minority party. And so Mr. Yoho is the ranking member on the Asia Subcommittee of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Mr. Yoho, a Republican, and I work together as one person. We have both, he introduced, when he was the chair, and I was on the Tom Lantos Commission, but we are both authors, co-sponsors of the Cambodian Democracy Act. Again, we speak with one voice, Democrats and Republicans. We are not divided on these issues. So Mr. Yoho from Florida will also be here today, and as I mentioned, he is the author, which I am the co-author on the Cambodian Democracy Act, which we know passed the House of Representatives earlier this year. I'm also going to thank the rest of our speakers. I'm just going to list them now. I'll go through later on the order of the speakers, but I really want to thank all the speakers. You know, this is really about hearing the speakers and understanding that this is a historic moment that we're living through. Maybe not the best moment in the history of what's going on in Cambodia, but it's historic that we're all here together to talk about what is the next step and what do we do. And so I'm really pleased, and I'll just list some of the folks, or the folks that will be addressing you later on. First is Mona Kem, who is a CNRP Deputy Director General of Public Affairs. Then we're going to have Derek Mitchell, who is the President of the National Democratic Institute. Then we're going to have Tung Yap, who is the President of the Khmer People's Network for Cambodia. And I hope if I mispronounce your name, you will forgive me. Kim Hun Thit, who is the Chairwoman of the Women's Affairs for the CNRP of America and CNRP overseas. We have the Venerable But Bunten, who is here, and we have Janet Singh, President of the CNRP Women's Movement, the Global Networks, Women's Movement Global Networks. We're also intending, as I mentioned, to have Representative Shabbat will be here, Representative Yoho will be here, and if her plane lands on time, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee will be here. So this is an important event. So why are we here? We're here to honor the 28th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accord, which is also called the Comprehensive Cambodian Peace Agreement, which sought to ensure the rights of self-determination of the Cambodian people through free and fair elections. Today, we must recognize that Cambodia, under Prime Minister Hun Sen, no longer enjoys free and fair election. The Paris Peace Accords promised full multi-party democracy. The Prime Minister Hun Sen has destroyed democracy as promised by the agreement by dissolving the main opposition party, jailing the CNRP President Kem Sokha, and threatening to arrest Sam Rainsy when he returns to Cambodia, which is expected to be on November 9th. This is not free and fair elections or a democracy that we know it. And I call upon the Cambodian government here, and if it's reported, I think all the members of Congress call upon the Cambodian government to swiftly release Kem Sokha, to reinstate the CNRP as a political party, and as well as to allow the CNRP members to hold their elected seats. We call upon that immediately to be done. The United States, as a signatory to the agreement, needs to step up our involvement in Cambodia if Cambodia does not take steps to secure democracy. Recently, to this end, I have introduced the Cambodia Trade Act, along with my friend Representative Shabbat. We both are the co-authors and co-sponsors of the Cambodia Trade Act in the House of Representatives, and the dual, this is a bipartisan, bicameral bill that we were introducing, and in the Senate, Senator Ted Cruz has introduced the same bill as we are doing in the House. And this bipartisan and bicameral legislation would require the Trump administration to reconsider Cambodia's preferential trade treatment under the General System of Preferences, GSP, which means that we give exemptions or we reduce tariffs on goods that Cambodia exports to the United States. We gave this preferential status in 1997 to increase aid and to support the fledgling democracy in Cambodia that was occurring, which we had hoped in the late 1990s. We passed this we gave Cambodia that preferential trade agreement. Cambodia currently exports more than $180 million in goods to the United States, duty-free under this program. So we are providing special treatment to Cambodia. But it is a belief of Representative Shabbat, I hope many members of this House, same thing in the Senate in a bipartisan way, that trade and economic growth should not come at the price of democracy and freedom. That's the way it is. We should not be providing economic benefits, preferential trade treatment at the expense of democracy. We did that to promote democracy, to promote the results of the 1991, to help Cambodia as it moved towards democracy. Cambodia has violated that, not the United States. We want to promote better trade. We want to provide for Cambodian trade, but Cambodia must live up to its part of the bargain. As everybody who is here today knows, Cambodia has not lived up to its part of the bargain. We know that Hun Sen's regime has undermined the nation's path towards democracy by attempts to abolish all political opposition or dissent, and for that, it is our belief, Representative Shabbat and myself, and Senator Ted Cruz in the Senate, that Cambodia should not enjoy preferential trade privileges with the United States. You know that the European Union is also looking at the same issue of trade privileges because for the same thing. They too support Cambodia, would like to see Cambodia continue to move towards democracy, but EU is also looking at, as Cambodia also violates the 1991 Paris Agreement, which they agreed to, that they were a signature, that they would promote democracy. And as everyone in this room knows, they have not done that. So I want to thank everyone for joining you. You're really not here to hear me. You're here to talk to each other. I'm just kind of the convener and kind of work on your behalf. All the people in this room, we're not here to pick sides. We're not here to change governments. We are here to promote democracy and freedom, and ask this government to do what it promised to do, and that it has not done at all. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, and that will be Mona Kim, who is the CNRP Deputy Director General of Public Affairs. Welcome.
To end decades of civil wars and of foreign occupancy in Cambodia. Today we know that some of the countries signatories are still with us, in particular, for example, the U.S. House and the U.S. Congress as a whole have been introducing and passing a few bills trying to hold all Cambodian stakeholders accountable to the Paris Peace Accords. Also, what the Paris Peace Accord tells us is that even back then, very few people thought that it was impossible for us to reconcile our differences. But in the end, despite the deep conflicts, despite years of bloodshed, it is still possible for us to find a peaceful way to come together to reconcile our differences. So to me, I look into Paris Peace Accord as something of hope, especially in our world today, in Cambodia today. 4 of the Cambodian faction agree that they would take effective measure to ensure that policy and practices of the past will not be returned again. And I wish today, 28 years later, that I can stand here and say that Cambodia has upheld to that promises, that Cambodian has shown commitment to those promises, but unfortunately not. Especially in the last 2 years, we see that not only Cambodia does not uphold to the Paris Peace Accords, there have been major step backs in the last 2 years to get rid of all the elements and the spirits of Paris Peace Accord, and I will just quickly list those things. Millions of people have their votes stolen. Millions of people, thousands of officially elected commune councillor, elected official, have been taken away from their offices a few months after the election. We have many arrests, many political prisoners. And as long as there's a single political prisoner, including my father, Kem Sokha, the practices of the past and the principle of the past continue to haunt us today, and it's still very present. What I mean by the practices of the past, the practice of the Khmer Rouge, so it's really present today. And for those, we also want to acknowledge acknowledge some progress that has been made. Sometimes we hear criticism that we, the opposition or the democracy fighters, do not acknowledge enough of what's been happening positively from 1991 until now. There has been some progress, especially on social issues. For example, on HIV/AIDS, malaria, that's no longer a big concern in Cambodia. So we do acknowledge that. But for those who invoke those achievements and to say that the price of peace is human rights or the price of peace is the violation of individual rights, they are absolutely wrong. And for my own observation, just by looking back to all the way to 1991, I was young then. I was first introduced to Paris Peace Accord when my father, Kem Sokha, founded the first human rights organization in Cambodia. I think, looking back now, there has never been a buy-in from some of the Cambodian faction on the Paris Peace Accord itself. And that's why it has not worked out well. That's why in the last, it's almost been 30 years now, because there's no real buy-in from the ruling party, in particular the Hun Sen faction. Why? If you look at the heart of the problem that we have today in Cambodia, it's about legacy struggle. Yeah, we can talk about the ruling party wanting to stay in power, but it's about legacy, and there's a conflict because the ruling party sees the Paris Peace Accord as our victory, and as long as they don't see that the Paris Peace Accord is for all Cambodians and that it's the victory of all Cambodians, we cannot have real reconciliation. So I see that there's been a struggle of whose legacy is going to live. It's Paris Peace Accord 23rd October versus 7 January. That's the liberation, or as we call it, the invasion of Cambodia in 1979. So I think first, as a Cambodian, as the young generation, we need to look at the heart of the problem. We need to solve that struggle first, the struggle of legacy. And I would call on the new generation on the other side, the ruling party, for them to see that the Paris Peace Accords was and is a victory of all, for all of us, and it belongs to all of us. And I'm afraid that if you insist on enforcing your own legacy, which is the 7 January 1979, we can never be united. We can never have national unity. We can never have real reconciliation, because it's very difficult for us as Cambodians to accept a day that you invited a foreign country to invade our country. So 7 January 1979 is a controversial victory, even if that is such a victory. Paris Peace Accord, however, is something that all of us had brought all of us together. It's not just a victory for the Democrat. It's not just a victory of the freedom fighter. It's a victory for all of us. And I can point specifically how you, the ruling party, the elite, benefit from that. You would not have been able to even travel abroad, even on your private jet, if we were still living in communism before the Paris Peace Accord. We wouldn't have aid from all these countries, from the signatory country, in particular the US, the EU, Japan, and many other countries. I know I'm up. Is that it? Oh, okay. It's a vote, okay. So that was not 5 minutes. So you have to acknowledge that the Paris Peace Accord does bring benefits not only to Cambodians at large, but actually the elites benefit more than anybody else from the Paris Peace Accord. And you can't pick and choose. You can, for example, you can want certain parts of the agreement, but then you don't respect other parts of the agreement. The very particular example is the EBA of the GSP. The reason why we got these preferences, it's because of the Paris Peace Accord. The reason why we have roads, we have hospitals, we have schools in Cambodia, it's because of all those international aids and loans. And it is because of Paris Peace Accord, and you benefited from that. You have benefited from that more than anybody. All the Cambodians benefited from it. We benefited from it. So why are you trying to destroy that? And you need to see that as our legacy together. Because I'm really concerned, and I don't think that if any group in particular, if any group still pushing for their own legacy, whether it's 7th January or anything else, I don't see that we can ever reconcile. And the only legacy that would be lasting, that's sustainable, and that's genuine, is the one that we can build together. So today, I genuinely want to appeal to the new generation of the ruling party to rethink all of that. We have built something great already, the old generation, which is the Paris Peace Accord. That can be our roadmap, and we can use that as the foundation to move forward together. And you need to see that belongs to you as well. And I will end my speech here. And next, I think I'm supposed to introduce Mr. Stu Shabbat, who's not here yet.
So we're going to introduce Derek Mitchell. Derek, right over here.
So next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Derek Mitchell, who is the president of the National Democratic Institute. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very, very much. First of all, thank you, Congressman Lowenthal, for inviting me, as well as Congressman Chavez, who is not here at the moment in absentia. Mona, who never fails to inspire me whenever I hear her speak. She does represent the best of her generation and the hope and promise of Cambodia, and all the families that are sacrificing. Her father and others inside and outside the country who have been sacrificing along with their families for freedom in Cambodia. You really inspire me and everybody who knows of the Cambodian experience. And I want to say hello to what a remarkable display of support from the Cambodian community here in this room. I am very honored to join all of you and the Cambodia Congressional Caucus to mark the 28th anniversary of the 1991 Paris Peace Accords. This historic agreement, signed by 19 governments, including the United States, brought an end to a brutal conflict and laid out a path to building a democratic Cambodia founded on respect for human rights and the rule of law. The Accords call for Cambodia to establish, and I quote here, a system of liberal democracy on the basis of pluralism, ensure respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms in Cambodia, and support the rights of all Cambodian citizens to undertake activities that would promote and protect fundamental freedoms and adhere to all relevant human rights instruments. When the peace accords were signed, Cambodia was emerging from decades of war, genocide, and Vietnamese occupation. The war was economically devastated, and few institutions of democratic governance existed. But the years immediately following the signing of this agreement were ones of much hope and promise. I actually remember these days, as I was a young, not much younger, but a younger program officer working at NDI on Cambodia at the time. I'm now president of NDI. 25 years ago, I was a program officer working on Cambodia during this very hopeful moment of progress and promise after the Accords. The Cold War had just ended. Cambodia seemed to be one of the immediate beneficiaries of this new moment for Asia and the world. In many ways, Cambodia had epitomized the ideological conflict and political divisions that marked the Cold War, and that the world hoped with its end would hearken a new world order, or at least a world safer for democracy. We stand in 2019, unfortunately, mourning the lost promise of that moment, but still hopeful about the future. The actions of the Hun Sen government over the years have contravened the letter and the spirit of the Paris Agreement, systematically violating the rights that are protected by the Cambodian Constitution and international conventions, and degraded the tireless work of countless Cambodian citizens to build a democratic society. The consistent harassment and arrest of political activists, the dissolution of the political opposition, and the crackdown on independent news media, civil society groups, and human rights organizations are severe manifestations of the deterioration of democracy in Cambodia. At the same time, in my view, they also betray the government's deep insecurity. As a secure and confident leadership that believes it truly has the support of the people and represents the popular will, would not need to resort to such things to find any opposition threatening in order to maintain its control. That means, of course, the Cambodian transition, heralded by the Paris Agreement, is not done, but remains a work in progress. Although the Cambodia of today is a far cry from what we all worked for and hoped for during that period, the people of Cambodia, when given the chance, have demonstrated time and again their untiring commitment to change and to freedom. No action by the Cambodian government can hide that basic truth. It requires then that those who signed that agreement 29 years ago must not look away, must not forget, but rededicate themselves to realizing the lost promise reflected in this anniversary. Every signatory, including the United States, has a responsibility to speak up. And those of us who care about Cambodia's well-being must put pressure on those signatories who fail to assist its full implementation. Especially those who not only look the other way, but aid and abet the continued hijacking of Cambodia's future, and do so clearly for their own benefit, rather than for the benefit of the Cambodian people and at the expense of Cambodian sovereignty. At great personal risk, Cambodian defenders of democracy and freedom continue to work to implement the vision and promise of the Paris Peace Accords, and we all must continue to stand in solidarity with them and support their efforts. For 25 years, until 2017, when we were asked to leave, NDI did so inside the country, working alongside Cambodians across the political spectrum to build new democratic institutions and processes and fulfill the country's promise, even as political conditions steadily deteriorated. We supported the development of a multi-party system, a vibrant civil society, peaceful electoral competition, and greater opportunities for women and young people to participate in and lead political processes. The Cambodian people deserve the democratic future they envisioned for themselves, and that was affirmed by the international community 28 years ago. NDI appreciates and honors the relentless efforts of the Cambodian Caucus and the strong, timely statements by the U.S. Congress on a bipartisan basis, which is a wonderful thing, in support of human rights in Cambodia. And we continue to stand with the Cambodian people, including those here in this room, as they continue their relentless march for freedom, justice, and democracy for their country, for your country. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this up.
Our next speaker is Tom Yap, who is the president of the My People's Network for Cambodia. Welcome.
Alan Leventhal, Congressman Steve Chabot.
We'll be here momentarily.
Okay, great. And all the caucus members for working very hard on the Cambodian issue. Since our initial request to host this commemoration to formally in the Congressman Alan Leventhal office, our civic group were very happy to receive the news from Ngoc Nguyen on September 11, on the day of the hearing, that the Cambodia Caucus will host a reception. So we were very happy. And last weekend, 16 of our civic organizations, Cambodian and Laos, from across America came together to the greater Washington, D.C. area to hold a Southeast Asia conference, and we conclude that there were serious violations of the core principle of the 1991 Paris Peace Accord. The conference produced a joint statement on the violation, and we have some copy here today, and we will email to different places later tonight and tomorrow. The conference was very grateful of the U.S. Congressional Cambodia Caucus for holding the commemoration of the 28th anniversary of the 1991 Paris Peace Accord on Cambodia this October 21st, the first time ever in this historic accord for the Cambodian people. So thank you. And also the conference would like to acknowledge, deeply appreciate, and support the following U.S. Congress resolution on Cambodia and Laos, just to name a few. We support H.R. 526, Cambodia Democracy Act of 2019, H.R. 1376, Cambodia Trade Act of 2019, S34, Cambodia Trade Act of 2019, S2412, Cambodia Accountability and Return on Investment Act of 2018, as Res 240, a resolution expressing the sense of the Senate with respect to democracy and human rights in the Laos People Democratic Republic. And here I would like to thank the civic organization that helped initiate this commemoration by reading their name. They were the co-sponsor of the Southeast Asia Conference 2019 last weekend. First, Cambodia Border Institute, Cambodian Alliance for the Paris Peace Agreement on Cambodia, Cambodian American for Human Rights and Democracy, Cambodia Women Health Organization, Khmer Alliance Foundation, Khmer Association of Hampton Road, Virginia, Khmer People Network for Cambodia, Khmer Unity for Cambodia, Laos American for Laotian Human Rights, Lao American Veteran Association, Maybon Foundation, Our Mutual National Interest International, Omni International, Overseas Khmer Summit, Reinstated Royal Lao Government, Say Cambodia, Union for Lao Nation and Study and Research Center on Laos and Asia. On November 9, Mr. Sam Rainsy, the exiled leader of CNRP, will return to Cambodia. He and his political party are supported by half of the Cambodia population. Since Mr. Hun Sen and Mr. Sam Rainsy have about the same number of supporters, they must reach a compromise acceptable to both sides for the interest of peace. I ask the U.S. Congress to help with the safety of his return to Cambodia. And again, to conclude, I would like to thank Congressman Alan Luvento, Congressman Steve Chabot, and all the Cambodia Caucus members for hosting this commemoration of the 1991 Paris Peace Accord. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm pleased to bring up Kim Hun Tit, who is the chairwoman of the Women's Affairs for CNRP of America and CNRP Overseas. Welcome.
Thank you, Congressman Alan Luvento, that's allowed me to speak today, and good evening, everyone. Today, I'm talking on behalf of Cambodian National Rescue Party America, Cambodian National Rescue Party Overseas. I'm Kim Hun Tit. I'm chairwoman of CNRPA and CNRPO. And the reason why I'm here, I'm among of many Cambodian women, which is had, involved of suffering from the dictator Hun Sen regime. Let me allow me to introduce back history that when I was young, I never lived in peaceful at all. I lived with fear. I heard a lot of soldiers came from the war and never peaceful because all of that Pol Pot regime has been continued. And it's still continued right now to Hun Sen regime. So I said it to myself that when I have opportunity to come to the freedom country,
like United States. I will study hard, I will work hard, I will be study more, understand more about democracy here. So here, I know that one day I have a confidence that I will fight for Cambodian. I will fight for the people that is innocent in Cambodian. As you know that I have strong feeling that one day I will be able to advocate for those innocent people who have suffered so many years already from Pol Pot regime and into Hun Sen regime. So as the world know that America is a freedom country. I have lived in America and I am still devoting my time toward democracy. Why I'm doing that? It is because I remember my root and many other people in Cambodia. I want them to know that where they come from and where you need to fight for democracy. Today, I'm proud to be represent Cambodian women, and I want to let the world know that women's rights and human rights in Cambodia is stifled and severely violated by Hun Sen, his crony government. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to recall briefly for Cambodia that has been 40 years since Pol Pot already know it called killing field. It took place during that dark period of time that between 1975 and 1979, it has been 1 to 2 million people already died. And you know that all of that because of they starving from food and also because of class cleaning and overlooked. So as Cambodian women now don't have its better and for the better predecessor from the killing field and era either. During the current Hun Sen regime, the majority of Cambodians who are not artificially with a life of ruling Pori Cambodian people Pori suffered from multiple injustices including but not least land grabbing. Again, because of where we here are talking about human rights and violation in Cambodia, I am really have a strong feeling that we all together here with the congressmen, with all of people around the world that we can unite and then we can make Cambodian become more freedom and then have a free democracy in Cambodia. Another real case is a 30 years old CNRP activist who are elected official and has been targeted because she was a strong advocate and then for human rights and then equal access for her constituent. She had to seek out safety and then exiled from her newborn child, which is had 3 months old. So she is only one of many other women who was installed by Hun Sen regime. As we are celebrating 28th anniversary for Paris Accord, it reminds me of a legitimate government who led by Hun Sen had promised since 1991 to promote human rights in Cambodia, which indicated from Paris Peace Accord statement under Article 15. It had said that all persons in Cambodia and all Cambodian refugees and displaced persons shall enjoy rights and freedom embodied in universal Declaration of Human Rights and other relevant international human rights. Number 2, it has stated that Cambodian under the text, we need to be ensured that for respect for observation of human rights of fundamental freedom in Cambodia and to support the right of Cambodian citizens to undertake activity which is would promote and then protect human rights and fundamental freedom in Cambodia. And The next one, it said that all other signature countries must promote and encourage it, request it for observation of human rights and fundamental freedom in Cambodia and embody in the relevant international instrument and relevant resolution of United Nations General Assembly in order. Yes. Hun Sen is keep promising and promising. On June 26, 2019, his illegitimate government has decided to accept 173 out of 198 recommendations made by 73 UN members. During the Kingdom's third Universal Period Review in 2019. So, more illegal, he has made many laws to ban activists of CNRP, the law on communication for all Cambodian inside could not use internet, and any post to express about their rights, to express about democracy in Cambodia. If anyone dare to post any sign of symbol of democracy, he or she will arrest it at that moment. So the world must keep eye on Hun Sen's promise to empower human rights and women's rights. The world must step toward with other in unity to gain strong support. For instance, women and men in United States must step in and then to help promote reselling bill dealing with Cambodia democracy, such as HR 526 Cambodia Democracy Act of 2019, HR 1376 Cambodia Trade Act 2019, X34 Cambodia Trade Act 2019, and 1468 Cambodia Accountability and Return on Investment Act 2019. As Cambodian American citizens, we have the right to discuss with our local congressman, senator, about our concern with diplomatic affairs, either through the phone or by the scheduling, make appointment to meet with them in the Washington DC or at the local office. On behalf of Cambodian, we are here today to ask for your immediate assistance, U.S. Congressman, Senator, to invest. And number one, we want to promote the bill HR 526 Cambodia Democracy Act 2019 to raise the awareness. Number two, we urge the U.S. government and Senator to support and finding peaceful the immediate release of President Kum Sokha. Number three, we would like to urge international community about Paris Peace Agreement, so to promote that, so the Cambodian can live peace and freedom for all Cambodians. And at the end, I would like to thank so much on behalf of Cambodian, on behalf of Cambodian National Rescue Party, on behalf of Cambodian National Rescue Party America and overseas, would like to thank the Congressman Alan Lowenthal, Congressman Steve Chabot, Congressman Ted Jeho, and many other NDI and IRI for your support, for your us always behind us Cambodia, for always support Cambodian to become living freely and then democracy in the new world. Thank you so much for your attention.
And now I have the good fortune of introducing the co-chair of the Congressional Caucus on Cambodia, Representative Steve Chabot, my good friend.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Apologize for being a few minutes late. I was handling 4 bills on the floor of the House. They were bipartisan bills, Republicans, Democrats working together. It's a small business committee. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of Republicans, Democrats working together in a lot of Congress. There is relative to Cambodia, however. We really do work together. Alan Lowenthal and myself have worked together on this issue for years. We're different parties, but we agree on the future of Cambodia, and that future of Cambodia should be decided by the people of Cambodia, and it ought to be a bright future and an honorable future, something other than what is happening obviously right now in Cambodia. And we're here to commemorate the 28th anniversary of the signing of the Paris Peace Accords. And almost 3 decades ago, that particular accords promised Cambodia a path forward with the understanding that Cambodia would become a stable, multi-party democracy that respected the rights of its people. Unfortunately, under the rule of Hun Sen, the Cambodian government has not lived up to that potential, nor has it upheld its commitments to human rights that were made under the accord. I don't need to go through all the details of the latest crackdown for anyone here. Suffice it to say that no meaningful political opposition is tolerated. Kem Sokha, as was mentioned, is still in jail, and the last so-called election, let's face it, it was a farce. This willful disregard by Hun Sen and his cronies of political rights makes a mockery of his signature on those accords 28 years ago. That's why here in the House we have proposed legislation to incentivize him to rethink his recent actions. Mr. Yo, who I believe will be speaking shortly, joined by several other members, including myself, we've championed the Cambodian Democracy Act to provide for targeted sanctions on those who have participated in uprooting democracy in Cambodia. But sanctions don't always work, which is why Congressman Lowenthal and I introduced the Cambodia Trade Act, which would require a review of the GSP trade privileges that we extend to Cambodia. And as we mark the anniversary of the signing of the Paris Peace Accords, I pray that we will soon see a Cambodia that finally respects its people, respects their human rights, and their desire for political freedom. The people of Cambodia deserve much better than they're getting under Hun Sen's regime. And Congressman Lowenthal and I and many other members of Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, are committed to do everything within our power to make sure that one day, and hopefully that's in the very near future, that Cambodia will once again be free. Thank you very much. Thank
you. Next, we had the pleasure of having the Venerable But Bunten present to us.
Thank you very much, Congressman. It's lucky enough to speak about the Paris Peace Agreement. My point to speak now is the violation of the Paris Peace Agreement brought Cambodia to the uncertain ground. Since the dissolution of CNRP, the foundation of democracy is totally destroyed. And let me raise the point of the Paris Peace Agreement on Section 4, Article 8. It sets very important points of the foreign forces, withdrawal of the foreign forces and its verification. Recently, in 2019 and the end of 2018, there are reports produced by many international organizations stated that the Cambodian government under the dictator, Mr. Hun Sen, is secretly signed, given 2 places of land not less than 45,000 hectares in Caucus and in Sihanouk. This is come back to the history before Paris Peace Agreement. And I think probably the negligence of the signatories countries member giving big opportunity to the long-standing in powers Mr. Hun Sen manipulated democracy in Cambodia. To me, Cambodia is lucky enough to have 18 countries as their guardians, but the fruits of Paris Peace Agreement seem to be spoiled because giving big opportunity to the Prime Minister to act carelessly without thinking about Cambodian people free wills. The elections in 2018 is not a free will, but there is no choice. The election with a forceful to the voters to come out from their homes to vote to the party that they do not want. And if those who do not show the fingerprints, a black fingerprints to the authority, they may not happily and peacefully live at their home. So this is the form of completely destroys the Paris Peace Agreement. Another point that I wish to raise, how the signatories countries members keep silent if the situation in Cambodia is uncertain. Do the signatories countries member continue to concern, or they have to take action against this dictator? If dictator continue to rule the countries, to torture the people, not because of the strongest dictators, but the guardians, the signatories countries keep ignored. So my sincere call for the signatory country, they may have to set up the committee called the Paris Peace Agreement Evaluation Committee. And we have to check how far, for these 28 years, how far the Cambodian ruling elites have followed and respect the Paris Peace Agreement. My dear friends, Congressmen, the destroying Paris Peace Agreement is totally destroying the foundation of human rights. When the human rights in Cambodia is fully violated, it's not the suffer only for our people, but it's the suffer of the signatory countries. They need to keep silent, to give the opportunity to the Prime Minister to rule for one more term. For 35 years should be enough for the dictators. I think now it's the time to the victims to be united and works together for the betterment of our people. May our people forget our differences, our opinion, but looking at our nation in suffer, our nation in danger. If we don't do so, then we don't cry. We don't cry and we don't tear up our tears. Don't drop our tears that our nation is in danger if we are not united. Thank you very much.
Representative Yoho will be here in just a minute, so I want to finish up with our invited speakers before the representative speaks to us. And our next speaker is Janet Seng, who is the president of the CNRP Women's Movement Global Conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Congressman Allen went to save the best for last.
Yes.
Yes? Before I start, I would like to pay respect to Venerable Bunting. And I know in this room such a diversity. We have different organizations and different leaders. But I also would like to pay respect to His Excellency Yang Fonyarit that's here, and His Excellency Tuan Yuda, as well as Sister Mona that could join us today. On behalf of the Cambodian around the world, I'd like to extend to Congressman Alan Lewento, Steve Chabot, and Congressman Ted Yoho, who will be here soon, as well as Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, a heartfelt thank you for putting together a Congressional Cambodian Caucus commemoration of 1991 Paris Peace Accord today. Friends like you are a rare gift. Thank you for all you have done for Cambodia. However, political crisis in Cambodia has yet end. We have a long way to go. We must continue to fight for human rights, demand for the return of democracy to Cambodia. The 1991 Peace Paris Accord, which ended Cambodian civil war and supposedly brought democracy, peace, stability into Cambodia. But after Paris Peace Accord signed it in 1991, there are many challenges remain. Cambodians in Cambodia, Cambodians around the world crying out for the United States, the international community, especially the nation that signed and witnessed the 1991 Peace Accord, to hold Mr. Hun Sen accountable for dissolving the opposition party, CNRP party, and create political crisis such as taking steps to arrest and jail opposition, president, members, supporters. By using the court system, up to today, there are 58 people has been arrested and jailed. It is a step that illustrates Hun Sen's consolidation of power and violated human rights time after time again in Cambodia. Currently, Hun Sen police brutally beaten, arrest CNRP supporters, and threat of many more political arrests. Mr. Samrangsi return to Cambodia is Cambodian last hope to bring back democracy and the respect of human rights. We want to see our president, Mr. Kem Sokha, being freed. We want to see CNRP being reinstated. We certainly want to see freedom, peace, justice in Cambodia. I would like to call on member of Congressional Cambodian Caucus, Cambodian, CNRP members and chapter in the United States, around the world, work together as a team should we wish to bring change to Cambodia. Thank you.
So should we take a 5-minute break or something?
Representative Yoho said he'll be here. He just got out of a meeting. He's coming. So let's take a 5-minute break until he arrives. Stretch out, you know. Thank you. That's it.
Good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like
3 minutes to remind you about how the caucus started.
Do you want to talk to me, or do you want to talk here?
Yeah.
How the caucus started? What's your first name? How do I...
Sonora from CWA.
Huh? Sonora?
Sonora from.
How do you spell that?
SAUNORA. From.
Sonora. And what's the last?
PROM. Like high school from.
PROM?
PROM. I want 3 minutes.
I give Sonora from 3 minutes to talk about the history of the caucus.
If you want to be convened for Mr.
Let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Congressman,
yes.
One that came from Geography Asia. We have a minute come to us. On November 9, San Francisco Opposition Party, the CNRP senior ranking official will return to Cambodia.
Yes.
Do you have any statement for this return? Because Unfan regime trying to repress them, to smash them, obliterate them.
Well, I think one of the things that is coming out of this today, where we're commemorating 28th anniversary of the Paris.
Vậy mười con nhầm xong vậy bảy.
បាទប្រិមិត្តឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំកំពុងជួបជាមួយលោកសុនរាដែលជាគឺថាសកម្មជនមួយរូបនៅរដ្ឋវិជ្ជាតើនៅថ្ងៃនេះលោកចូលរួមនៅទីនេះតើមានចង់បង្ហាញយោបល់ឬក៏ជំហរយ៉ាងម៉េចតាក់ទងទៅនឹងដូចថាកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសនឹងតាក់ទងនឹងនយោបាយកម្ពុជា
បាទខ្ញុំមានប៉ុន្តែមុនដំបូងផុតខ្ញុំគាត់ទៅចង់ថាខ្ញុំនឹងមុនដំបូងខ្ញុំនឹងឡើងនិយាយបន្តិចទៀតខ្ញុំនឹងឡើងនិយាយដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំនិយាយទៅចុះទី1មនុស្សម្នាក់ដែលផ្លិចដែលទាំងអស់គ្នានឹងរាប់ទៅផ្លិចខាង CWA នឹងខ្ញុំជាអ្នកផ្ដើមធ្វើអា Caucus ហ្នឹងហើយ Caucus ហ្នឹងដំបូងផុតខ្ញុំនិយាយជាមួយ Congressman នៅខាងSan Francisco ឥឡូវហ្នឹងគាត់ជា Chairman Caucus Vietnamese Caucus គាត់ថា if I'm free I would be your caucus ដែលបានតែខ្ញុំផ្ដើមកំណត់ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំថាបើយួនគេមាន Caucus មិនក៏ខ្មែរយើងគ្មាន Caucus បានជាខ្ញុំនិយាយជាមួយលោក Alan Vontol ហើយនឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយជាមួយលោក Ed Roy នេះជា Congressman 2 នាក់ដែលផ្ដើមកំណត់ធ្វើ Caucus មុនគេអស់ហើយដល់ហើយទៅបានអស់លោកដទៃទៀតនឹងចូលមករួមធ្វើជាមួយគ្នាអានេះខ្ញុំចង់រំលឹកប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្របន្តិចឥឡូវលោក Ed Roy បានដូចថាលាឈប់ហើយណាលោកបានដូចថាឈប់ពីតំណែងប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងនយោបាយនៅកម្ពុជាសប្តាហ៍ថ្ងៃវិញការដែលប្រពខួប28ឆ្នាំឬក៏ខួបសន្ធិសញ្ញាក្រុងប៉ារីសនឹងតើវាមានការប្រតិបត្តិគ្នាយ៉ាងណាទៅហើយលោកគិតថាអាចទទួលយកបានទេភាគីកម្ពុជាទាំងសងខាងបាទខ្ញុំចង់ជម្រាបថាអញ្ចេះ ខ្ញុំចង់ជម្រាបថាការដែលគេដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាខ្មែរទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងវាខ្មែរយើង99%ច្រឡំយ៉ាងម៉េចខ្មែរច្រឡំយ៉ាងម៉េចខ្មែរច្រឡំថាគេនឹងមកជួយយើងការពិតគេមិនមែនមកជួយយើងទេគេជួយលទ្ធិប្រជាធិបតេយ្យយើងឃើញគេជួយយកលទ្ធិប្រជាធិបតេយ្យនៅប្រទេសច្រើនណាស់ហើយដល់ហើយទៅចុងក្រោយគេថាឥឡូវលទ្ធិប្រជាធិបតេយ្យបានមកហើយគេត្រូវដកខ្លួនចេញដល់ពេលនោះយើងថាមិនគណៈឯងឈប់ជួយខ្ញុំប្រទេសជាច្រើនហើយខ្មែរជាច្រើនចង់ឃើញអាមេរិកហ្នឹងទៅជួយធ្វើការជំនួសខ្លួនឯងការពិតទៅខ្មែរត្រូវតែធ្វើដោយខ្លួនឯងមានតែខ្មែរទេអាចដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាខ្មែរដោយខ្លួនឯងបានបើខ្លួនឯងហើយមិនព្រមតាក់ទងគ្នាមិនព្រមនិយាយគ្នាមិនដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាខ្មែរគ្មានអ្នកណាអាចទៅដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាខ្មែរបានទេ
សូមអរគុណច្រើនលោកព្រំសនរាជាស្ថាបនិកឬក៏ជាប្រធានប្រតិបត្តិនៃអង្គការខ្មែរអមេរិកណា
បាទចេះខ្ញុំបន្ថែមតិចខ្ញុំឥឡូវមិនមែនប្រធានក្រុមរក្សាវិបាលទេដោយសារទី1លោកវិបុលក៏មិនមែនជាប្រធានដែរលោកវិបុលបានឈប់ហើយអស់អាណត្តិហើយលោកវិបុលក៏មិនមែនជាសមាជិករបស់ CWA ទៀតដែរពីព្រោះគាត់ទៅធ្វើគណៈបកថ្មីដោយឲ្យគាត់អត់មានសិទ្ធិនឹងធ្វើចូលនៅក្នុង CWA ទៀតទេតែឲ្យខ្ញុំហ្នឹងក៏ឥឡូវហ្នឹងក៏ខ្ញុំក៏ជាគ្រាន់តែជាតំណាងរបស់ CWA បាទសូមអរគុណបាទ
សូមអរគុណច្រើនលោកបាទសូមអរគុណបាទប្រិយមិត្តនេះជាកម្មវិធីតាក់ទងទៅនឹងដោយថាការពិភាក្សាកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងសន្ធិសញ្ញាទីក្រុងប៉ារីសសន្ធិសញ្ញាសន្តិភាពបាទហើយ VA កំពុងតែជួបមន្ត្រីមួយចំនួនហើយនឹងដោយថាប្រជាពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរដែលចូលរួមនៅក្នុងកម្មវិធីនេះដើម្បីនឹងពិភាក្សាអំពីបញ្ហាទាំងឡាយហ្នឹងហើយលោកដែលជាអ្នកតំណាងរាស្ត្រមួយរូបផ្សេងទៀតគឺលោក Steve Chabot លោកបានអញ្ជើញមកដល់ហើយមិញបានបង្ហាញនៅទស្សនៈជាច្រើនតាក់ទងទៅនឹងការស្ដារប្រជាធិបតេយ្យនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាលោក Alan Lowenso ក៏បានបញ្ជាក់អំពីគោលចំហរបស់សភារបស់លោកនៅក្នុងការជួយស្ដារប្រជាធិបតេយ្យនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាឡើងវិញហើយក៏មានការថ្លែងសន្ទរកថាឬក៏ថ្លែងការពីចំហផ្សេងជាមួយនឹងការធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យមានការគោរពសន្ធិសញ្ញាសន្តិភាពទីក្រុងប៉ារីសនឹងឡើងវិញសម្រាប់ប្រទេសកម្ពុជាហើយនឹងស្វែងរកដំណោះស្រាយនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាហើយមានការដែលមានច្បាប់មួយចំនួនសេចក្តីព្រាងច្បាប់មួយចំនួនដែលសភាសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនិងព្រឹទ្ធសភាកំពុងតែជំរុញទៅមុខតាក់ទងទៅនឹងការដែលមានការចោទប្រកាន់អំពីការបំផ្លាញប្រជាធិបតេយ្យនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាហើយសន្ធិសញ្ញាសន្តិភាពទីក្រុងប៉ារីសបានបង្ហាញឲ្យមានដោយថាប្រជាធិបតេយ្យការគោរពសិទ្ធិមនុស្សហើយនឹងដោយថាការអភិវឌ្ឍនៅក្នុងប្រទេសក៏ប៉ុន្តែមកដល់ពេលនេះខាងក្រមជំទាស់បានបង្ហាញនៅគោលចំហថាដូចថានៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាមិនទាន់ឃើញមានការរំលោភបំពានទៅលើសន្ធិសញ្ញាទីក្រុងប៉ារីសដូច្នេះការពិភាក្សាគ្នានេះនៅបន្តទៅទៀតនៅពេលដែលមានដូចជាសមាជិកសភាអាមេរិកដោយលោក Ted Yoho នឹងអញ្ជើញមកដល់ដើម្បីនឹងពិភាក្សាបន្ថែមទៀតបន្តិចទៀតនឹងប្រិមិត្តអាចនឹងតាមដានទស្សនាជាមួយនឹងខ្ញុំបាទសុកខេមរានិងលោកប៉ុលវិស័យបន្តទៅទៀតបាទសូមអរគុណប្រិមិត្តបាទដែលបានតាមដានទស្សនាសូមអរគុណប្រិមិត្តឥឡូវសូមជួបប្រជាជនបុត្របន្តិច បេគុណសូមថ្លែងគុំនៅថ្ងៃនេះការពិភាក្សាអំពីសន្ធិសញ្ញាទីក្រុងប៉ារីសហើយនឹងការដែលពាក់ព័ន្ធទៅនឹងនយោបាយកម្ពុជាហ្នឹងតើបេគុណបង្ហាញយ៉ាងម៉េចទស្សនៈប្រជាជនផ្ទាល់ទៅកាន់ប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ฉะนั้นពោញាតិញោមអ្នកទេសនាតាមដាន VOA 20 ឆ្នាំ28ឆ្នាំកន្លងផុតទៅនេះអាត្មាគិតថាការអនុវត្តកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសបានតិចណាស់ចម្រើនពោហើយចំណុចខ្លះមិនត្រឹមតែដើរបានតិចទេដើរថយក្រោយដូចជានៅក្នុងផ្នែកទី4មាត្រាទី8និយាយអំពីការដកទើបបរទេសហើយនឹងត្រួតពិនិត្យអំពីទើបបរទេសនៅក្នុងកម្ពុជាយើងឃើញថាដើរផ្ទុយយើងអត់បានដកទើបទេដាក់ទើបវិញឧទាហរណ៍ដោយករណីកោះកុងផ្ដល់បន្ទាយយោធាជើងទឹកនឹងសិតតែផ្ទុយពីកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសហើយទី2ដែលយើងមើលឃើញថាវាមិនបានអនុវត្តឲ្យដើរផ្ទុយគឺមូលដ្ឋានគ្រឹះប្រជាធិបតេយ្យនិងសិទ្ធិមនុស្សត្រូវបានកំទេចចោលមូលដ្ឋាន
ត្រង់ចំណុចណាខ្លះតែគុណលើកអំពីរឿងហ្នឹង
មូលដ្ឋានគ្រឹះដែលត្រូវបានកំទេចចោលសិទ្ធិសេរីភាពនៅក្នុងការបញ្ចេញមតិរបស់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋត្រូវបានបិទទាំងស្រុងគ្រាន់តែចែករំលែកគុំថាបញ្ចេញមតិគ្រាន់តែចែករំលែកទស្សនៈនយោបាយអ្នកដទៃក៏ត្រូវបានគេចាប់ឃុំឃាំងដែរចំនួនពោនឹងចំណុចទី1ចំណុចទី2យើងមើលពីការចូលរួមនយោបាយពីសិទ្ធិចូលរួមនយោបាយដោយស្មើភាពគ្នាការចូលរួមនយោបាយសង្ហៃមានស្មើភាពគ្នាណាអ្នកមានឥទ្ធិពលរៀបចំគណៈបកនយោបាយប្រកួតតែឯងអោយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋអត់ជំរឿបង្ខំចិត្តទៅបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យគណៈបកតែមួយហើយការទៅបោះឆ្នោតនោះមិនមែនពលរដ្ឋចង់ទេបង្ខំឲ្យទៅបោះតាមរយៈការត្រួតពិនិត្យមើលចង្អុលដៃគ្នាអ្នកណាអត់ទៅបោះពីនេះគ្នាដូច្នេះចំណុចមូលដ្ឋានទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងស្មើមើលឃើញថា28ឆ្នាំកន្លងផុតទៅនេះវាបានអនុវត្តបានតិចតួចគឺអភិវឌ្ឍមានផ្លូវថ្នល់មានស្ពានអីខ្លះមានសាលារៀនមានទីពេទ្យក្រមជំនួយបរទេសអានឹងជាផ្នែកមួយនៃកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសដែរហើយអនុវត្តបានចំណុចអស់ហ្នឹងដោយសាររដ្ឋាភិបាលបានផលដែរបានគិតធ្វើបើអត់ផលក៏អត់ធ្វើមិនបានដែរទេนั่นពូនឹងចំណុចដែលយើងកត់សម្គាល់ហើយបានថ្មថារឿងដែលកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសមិនបានអនុវត្តពេញលេញវាអាចមានកត្តាពីរសំខាន់កត្តាទី1គឺការឆ្លោះឆ្លួយមិនបានធ្វើសហប្រតិបត្តិការស្និទ្ធរបស់ប្រទេសម្ចាស់ហត្ថលេខីហើយកត្តាទី2មានសមាជិកម្ចាស់ហត្ថលេខីខ្លះក៏រួមរំលោភដែរដូចចិនជាដើមគាត់រួមរំលោភដោយខ្លួនគាត់ដូច្នេះឲ្យគាត់អនុវត្តកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសយ៉ាងម៉េចប៉ុន្តែស្មាថាកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសនេះជាយន្តការនៃក្តីសង្ឃឹមសម្រាប់កម្ពុជា
ដូច្នេះមានសង្កេតការណ៍អំបញ្ញមិញទៅកាន់អង្គពិធីនេះថាបើសិនជាប្រទេសហត្ថលេខីមិនជួយអំពីរឿងហ្នឹងទេមានន័យថាមិនមែនជាការឈឺចាប់របស់ប្រជាជនខ្មែរតែមួយមុខគឺការឈឺចាប់ដល់ប្រទេសហត្ថលេខីដែរអញ្ចឹងមានន័យយ៉ាងម៉េចគុណអាចបញ្ជាក់បន្ថែម
អាត្មាថាប្រទេសម្ចាស់ហត្ថលេខីចេញបករដ្ឋាភិបាលចេញបកយ៉ាងម៉េចទី1គាត់ខំប្រឹងវិនិយោគទៅលើការស្ថាបនាប្រព័ន្ធនយោបាយបែបគោលការណ៍ប្រជាធិបតេយ្យ26ឆ្នាំកន្លង28ឆ្នាំកន្លងមកនេះគាត់វិនិយោគ3ធនធានវិនិយោគជាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិនិយោគជាជំនាញបច្ចេកទេសនិងវិនិយោគជាគោលនយោបាយសម្រាប់សម្រួល3ចំណុចនេះហើយបើសិនជាកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសត្រូវបានបរាជ័យហើយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរត្រូវរងអំពើទរណកម្មម្ដងទៀតនោះអ្នកដែលឈឺចាប់គឺម្ចាស់ហត្ថលេខីខ្លួនឯងដែលវិនិយោគ28ឆ្នាំហើយអត់បានផលស្មើនឹងអ្នករ៉ូស៊ីខាតណាចំនួនពលរ៉ូស៊ីខាតអ្នករ៉ូជាទូទៅអ្នករ៉ូស៊ីខាតដែលកើតសบายចិត្តទេមានតែកើតទុកណាបង
ប៉ុន្តែធ្វើម៉េចឲ្យមានការបកស្រាយត្រូវគ្នាទៅនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងពីព្រោះឃើញថាមានការបកស្រាយខាងរដ្ឋាភិបាលទៅផ្សេងទៅការបកស្រាយខាងក្រមជំទាស់ទៅផ្សឹងទៅអំពីរឿងថ្ងៃ$23ទិវាសន្តិភាព
ចំនួនពលអាត្មាថាយើងមិនអាចបកស្រាយតាមទស្សនៈគណិតនយោបាយផ្សេងគ្នាទេយើងត្រូវចូលលើមូលដ្ឋានរួមមួយមូលដ្ឋានរួមរបស់យើងគឺសេរីភាពរបស់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋបើយើងចូលលើមូលដ្ឋានហ្នឹងវាអត់មានអីត្រូវប្រឆាំងទោះគ្នាទេមូលដ្ឋានទី2ដែលយើងមើលក្នុងចំណុចទី4នៃកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងទីក្រុងប៉ារីសគឺរឿងទើបបរទេសហ្នឹងដើម្បីមូលហេតុឲ្យគេឆ្ងល់ខ្លាំងដោយសារវាអត់មានសម្លេងប្រឆាំងនៅក្នុងសភាបានគេឆ្ងល់ចំនួនពូដូច្នេះហើយទៅរកចំណុចរួមបើយើងបកស្រាយរកចំណុចលេងខ្លួនបកអត់អស់ទេហើយក៏អត់ត្រូវដែរគណៈបកប្រឆាំងថាអញ្ចេះគណៈបកកណ្ដាលអំណាចថាអញ្ចោះប៉ុន្តែដើម្បីឲ្យរកចំណុចរួមឃើញយើងចូលមកលើគោលការណ៍ច្បាប់
ឥឡូវថ្មីជាចុងក្រោយដំណោះស្រាយយ៉ាងណាទៅគុណដើម្បីឲ្យបញ្ចប់បញ្ហានយោបាយហ្នឹងមានអ្វីខ្លះ
គាត់ថានាយករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីខ្លួនឯងហ្នឹងត្រូវមានមនសិការមានការអត់អូនគ្នាខ្លះទៅធ្វើនយោបាយចង់ឲ្យខ្មែរឈ្នះតើចង់ឲ្យខ្មែររីកចម្រើនតើចង់ឲ្យខ្មែរសុខតើបើហ៊ុនសែនស្រឡាញ់សន្តិភាពចង់បានជាបៃតាស្ថាបនាសន្តិភាពគូថាសម្របរួល
អរគុណច្រើនដាច់គុណបាទប្រិមិត្តឥឡូវនេះលោកថេតយូហូជាសភាតំណាងរាស្ត្រដែលមកពីរដ្ឋ Florida កំពុងតែថ្លែងសន្ទរកថាអំពីរឿងនេះចឹងប្រិមិត្តសូមតាមដានជាមួយនឹង VOA បន្តទៀត
And it is important that the international community hold Cambodia to these standards. I've been able to work alongside co-chairs Steve Shabbat and Mr. Alan Lowenthal to protect the rights and freedom of the Cambodian people. As ranking member of the subcommittee on the Asia-Pacific and non-proliferation, I've also had the privilege of meeting with the Cambodia activist groups who wish to see democracy restored in their home country. Is anybody here from Gainesville, Florida? But I tell you, they've come in 2 or 3 different times in mass. And it's good to see people from Cambodia in Gainesville, Florida, because they come from around that region. And it's for democracy, it's for freedom, and it's for liberty. And strong with that, so it's great to see people engaged. In the 115th and the 116th Congress, I introduced the Cambodia Democracy Act, which I believe you are a co-sponsor of that, which directs the president to impose sanctions on individuals responsible for acts to undermine democracy in Cambodia, including acts that constitute serious human rights violation. This important legislation passed the House unanimously in July of 2019. It passed unanimously in the last Congress. It is my intention that this legislation sends a strong message to Mr. Hun Sen, an authoritarian leader who has clung to power for decades and has no intention of restoring democracy in his country. In fact, he's making provisions to pass his leadership on to the next heir, which is his family. And this is something that I thought we were over the years of feudal passing of power from one family member to the next. You know, because democracies don't work that way. Hun Sen has used violence, threats, and intimidation to shut down the press and internet to deter dissent. He has abolished the rule of law and made it impossible for human rights to flourish in a nation that once experienced democracy. In 2017, his regime instructed Parliament and the Supreme Court to dismantle the Cambodia National Rescue Party, a widely supported opposition group that challenged Hun Sen's Cambodian People's Party. Cambodia's Supreme Court banned the CNRP elected officials from office, jailed them, and eliminating the country's only viable opposition, and prevented those people for 5 years for seeking political office. I've had the privilege of meeting with members of the CNRP who have fled Cambodia for their safety, including acting president Sam Rainsy. These individuals have pledged to return to Cambodia next month to reinstate democracy in their home country despite mounting threats against them. We met with that group, and their goal is to restore democracy and to show up November 9th in Cambodia. They've got three scenarios to what's going to happen to them. One is they can be banned from entering the country. One is they can be arrested immediately. And 3 is they could face death. So if you're faced with that, if it's your choice, and those are your options, if you know if you'll return to a country, and somebody says if you come back, you'll be either banned from coming in, you'll be arrested, or you'll be put to death, how many of us would be willing to go back? And these people that are going back, it wasn't just Sam Rainsy. There was probably 10 people in that room. These people are laying their life on the line to uphold the 1991 Paris Peace Treaty that said democracy will be in Cambodia, that the people of Cambodia deserve freedom and liberty and a democratic form of government. These people are the founding fathers of that country. Because when I look at the founding of America, Our founding fathers stood up against Great Britain, and they laid their lives on the line for freedom and for liberty. And so these people are going back. Sam Rand's in that group. And I can't be more proud of them for their bravery and selflessness. They will be revered as the founding fathers and mothers of freedom in their country, along with all the other people that stand with them. The future of Cambodia is dependent on Hun Sen's response to this delicate situation. It is my hope, along with many others, that Hun Sen chooses to avoid conflict and instead honor the 1991 Paris Peace Accord and engage with opposition members in a peaceful manner. Regardless of his choice, I will continue to work with my colleagues to ensure that the Paris Peace Accord and democracy are no longer undermined in the great country of Cambodia. And if we don't stand up to agreements that we make, if countries don't honor that, why have an agreement? You know, if we don't have agreements that we can honor and uphold, you get chaos, you get a breakdown of the rule of law, you get authoritarian rule. And that is why this is so important that we carry through. In this bill, I truly believe the Cambodia Democracy Act will pass the Senate and get signed into law. Because you know, we are so blessed in this country. We're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But the one thing that does stick out, that stands up over and over again, is we can have a voice of dissent. We can be on different sides of the aisle, and we know tomorrow we're still going to have freedom and liberty in this country. That's something everybody in the world deserves. You know, if you believe like... Got a little prop here. This is our Declaration of Independence, and it's the Constitution. The whole thing, unabridged, this is it. I think everybody would agree this is not an epic in volume, right? But yet, it's an epic in ideology of what free men and women can accomplish if there is rule of law and people follow that. And in our country, in our religion, it says our rights come from a creator, not from government. And that government's instituted by we the people. We give our consent to that government so that we can be free, that we can choose and self-determining as long as we live within the parameters of the law. It's not given to us by a dictator. We're not blessed by an authoritarian ruler. We're blessed by our God-given rights. And that's what's on the line here. And that's why we stand strong with anybody that will be willing to risk everything to protect and preserve liberties and freedoms. And so for the Cambodian people, stay strong, do not back up. We are with you, and we're going to stand strong. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Let's hear it one more time. I think we're pretty much coming to the conclusion. I know that Sonora Prom wanted to address people for just 3 minutes. He has something very important to say.
Thank you, Congressman. I try to remind everybody here how it started, the Cambodia Caucus. I think if you remember Congressman Lowenthal,
yes,
your carpet may be worn out because I get into your office too often.
A lot of
One thing that we forgot to mention when we started Cambodia-America Alliance, I was then chairman. I talked with this Congress lady, chairman of the Vietnamese Caucus, and she said, "I'm sorry that I already chairman of the Vietnamese Caucus. Why don't you talk to Lowenthal and Royce?" That's how it started. And then I talked with him I talked with Ed Roy, I talked with Ted Yoho, I talked with everybody. And then everything started moving. And then how the caucus started. I just want to remind everybody that we forgot one person to die is Congressman Ed Roy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I want to remind everybody. And another thing that I try to remind us, the Cambodian, we Cambodian, 99% of us confused. Confused what? Confused, they believe that all the country can come and help us. Absolutely wrong. They come and help the democracy in Cambodia. They are not coming to help us. It's up to us to work among ourselves. It's not up to anybody. So what is so difficult for Hun Sen to release Kem Sokha? It's so simple. So the EVA will retain, the GSP will retain, the Cambodian people can work together. Some Rangsi don't have to die or don't have to go to jail. What's so wrong, Mr. Hun Sen? It's so easy. So it's up to us Cambodian. There is nobody else can help us. We the Cambodian, like the Congressman that you always said, we American, we the people, we the one who can solve our problem. Thank you for your listening, and I hope you listening well.
I want to thank everybody on behalf of my colleague Steve Shabbat, the other co-chair, and our author of the Cambodian Democracy Act, Congressman Yoho. Thank you all for coming. We are with you. We are going to fight for democracy and freedom in Cambodia. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. We, the Cambodian, we have to say thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I came from Canada.
You're from Canada?
To hear you here.
Thanks. I'm honored.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Well, of course, something like this is second because it goes against what he wants to do.
Thank you, sir.
They're always looking at themselves and worried about what's best for me. A true leader says, what's best for me? What's best for me?
Congressman, can you elaborate a little bit about some Rangsi return to Cambodia?
Yes.
What happened if he could not return, or if he can return, what's happening there?
Well, you know, as I think as Representative Yoho mentioned, there are, you know, either Mr. Rainsy is going to be respected by the Cambodian government, allowed to come, if the Cambodian government wants to support democracy, wants to support the rights of opposition parties, or they could ban him from or landing, or they could injure him or hurt him. We hope that the Cambodian government stands up for democracy, understands that it made a pledge and it was a signature to have open, free, and fair elections, which they have not had. And we urge the Cambodian government, we urge the government to protect Mr. Sam Rainsy, and to allow the people come. They're not there to do anything but to express their right to be the part of the leadership of the opposition party. We're not here to take sides and to pick which party should win. That is up to the Cambodian people to choose which party and which government they want. We do not support the Cambodian government taking away the rights of the Cambodian people to freely choose the party that they want. We want the government to release Kem Sokha and to allow Sam Rainsy to speak. And then we hope the next election will be free and fair, and there will be free election. If not, we will continue to hear in the United States to look at why should we give Cambodia extra protections for their goods? Why should we eliminate all the tariffs? Why shouldn't we put sanctions on them? We don't want to do that. We want to be the ally of the Cambodian. But if they do not allow for free and fair elections, if they do not release Kem Sokha, if they do not allow Sam Rainsy to come to the country, we will continue to move forward here in the United States with our partners throughout the world to put pressure on Hun Sen to allow for the democracy that he promised and now is taking away.
It's now is a symbol of peace, like Paris Peace Accord. So should Cambodian politicians come together and discuss, debate, or what is your idea?
The Cambodian coalition, the government, should they come together? We have seen here today in this room, which was very positive, people who support the CNRP USA and CNRP of America. Both sides were here represented, both came together. We hope that they will continue to work together so that we will see democracy return to Cambodia and to see a real opposition party. That's up to them to decide whether they want to or not. I think there was a very good sign today that both sides were represented here.
How about the Prime Minister Hun Sen and Sam Rainsy or Kem Sokha? Could they possibly negotiate or dialogue? Is that too late now? What is your recommendation?
Well, we think the time is right now for the Prime Minister to understand that the forces of democracy cannot be denied. People want the right to choose their own government, and you can't just take it away. And that Sam Rainsy or Kem Sokha, both of them, they represent the people of Cambodia. Hun Sen should not be afraid of that. If he should have a free and fair election, if his side wins the support of the people, he should be the leader. If either Sam Rainsy or Kem Sokha or coming together, if they have the support of the people, they will be the leader. What the United States wants to support, though, is democracy. We're not here to pick which person. We're here to support democracy and to say we will do whatever we can to further democracy in Cambodia.
When is a possible time that the Democracy Act 526, HR 526 will be passed, and is there any clue?
Well, it has been passed out of the House of Representatives.
I mean in the Senate, the House?
Well, I can't speak for the Senate. You will have to go to see Mr. McConnell and say, please take up. This bill will pass the Senate if Mr. McConnell sets a date for the vote. I think there are tremendous advocates for democracy in the Senate, just as there are here in the House. The question is, Mr. McConnell has decided not to take up any bills from the House of Representatives. So we're hoping this is a bipartisan bill that has support unanimously from both sides. We are urging Mr. McConnell to take it up. But we have no control over what Mr. McConnell does.
Last point is about the Trump administration as a signatory country. Now is the 28th anniversary of Paris Peace Accord. How can Trump administration involved with the situation in Cambodia now?
Well, I think he can speak out and support and say that the administration supports democracy in throughout the world. And so what we'd like to see is the Trump administration encouraging Mr. McConnell to take it up and have a vote. You will find that it is one of the few things in Congress that unites Republicans and Democrats. That is democracy in Cambodia, brings us together, just as we hope it brings the Cambodian people together, and we believe that the president should be out there supporting it. Right now, we just want Mr. McConnell to bring up the bill, and we want the president to speak out and support the bill.
Thank you so much, Congressman Alan Lowenthal, for interview with VOA. Thank you, sir.
Can I take picture with you?
ប្រិមិត្តនេះជាការដែលពិភាក្សាក្រោយពីបញ្ចប់ការពិភាក្សាតាក់ទងទៅនឹងដូចថាការប្រារព្ធខួបលើកទី28នៃទិវាសន្តិភាពទីក្រុងប៉ារីសដែលសភាអាមេរិកបានព្រួយផ្ដើមធ្វើការពិភាក្សាហើយមានការចូលរួមពីប្រជាពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរនៅតាមរដ្ឋជាច្រើនដែលមកចូលរួមនៅទីនេះហើយមានដូចជាវាគ្មិនជាច្រើនដែលប្រិមិត្តទើបតែបានទស្សនាជាមួយនឹងកម្មវិធីផ្សាយបន្តផ្ទាល់របស់ VOA រួចហើយអំបញ្ញមិញគឺហើយ VOA នឹងបន្តផ្សាយតទៅទៀតអំពីរឿងនេះអញ្ចឹងសូមអរគុណច្រើនបាទ VOA សូមជម្រាបលាប្រិមិត្តតែប៉ុណ្ណេះសិនបាទ